Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into this week's video on the Spark Your Speaking channel. Today I want to share with you how I overcame my fear of public speaking and how I was able to use this skill to succeed in my career and now help others do the same. For those who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome. My name is Kathy Lee and I am an international executive speaking coach, and I've helped hundreds of students in 108 different countries elevate their public speaking skills. If you want to improve your speaking and/or communication skills, make sure to hit the red subscribe button below this video so that you don't miss our weekly public speaking videos. Okay, let's get started. First off, I want to thank you all for supporting my channel and learning with me. It's been so much fun and more fulfilling to reach a wider audience and to help more people with their public speaking. As I've mentioned before in my videos, public speaking is one of the most important skills you could learn to help you achieve more in your life, whether that's creating and fostering more meaningful relationships, getting ahead in your career, gaining more confidence, or getting your ideas out there and inspiring others. The benefits to improving your public speaking are boundless. I also talked about how most people fear public speaking. That's totally normal, and that even the most successful people still have a bit of fear, but they've been able to use that fear to help them instead of letting it define them. Growing up, I was an incredibly shy person. Painfully shy. I could not raise my hand in class to answer questions or to share my thoughts because I had so much anxiety when I came up to the stage and spoke, or in front of a classroom and spoke. And if I was called to say something, I'd freeze or make so many mistakes and trip over my words when I spoke. It was a disaster. My face would get so red. It was absolutely mortifying. Even to this day, I still can't be in certain social circumstances without feeling overcome with anxiety and fear. I remember not long ago accepting an award and having to deliver a thank you speech, and I was in the bathroom ahead of time getting sick because I couldn't bear the thought of getting on stage and speaking. You know, whenever I tell these stories to anyone, no one believes me because I'm able to speak with such confidence and clarity now, and because of the work that I do. I not only teach public speaking to students, I have been working as a TV journalist in Canada for more than a decade. You can Google me up. I anchor the news, report out in the field, and I also MC or am the keynote speaker at many events. In fact, I've hosted and spoken at more than 100 events during the course of my career, and my largest crowd to date was about 10,000 people. It was pretty awesome. So anyway, yes, me. The once shy girl who couldn't raise her hand in class, the adult who is sometimes still afraid to speak in public and on stage, has made an impeccable living at doing the very thing she used to be afraid of and still sometimes is afraid of. So why am I telling you this? It's because I know that each and every one of you can succeed and reach your goals with strong public speaking skills. And I don't want you to think that just because you have fear or are scared or that you're not good at it, that you can't do it. Of course you can. Public speaking is like any skill. If you work at it and be consistent, you will improve. Rarely are people born with this ability to speak well. It's very rare. So how did I do it? There is no magic wand, as I've mentioned before. I didn't just get lucky. I worked very hard and I stayed the path and kept at it even with failures and mistakes and bumps in the road. I knew I always wanted to be on TV and I knew I always wanted to speak on stage, but I didn't have the skills or the courage. What I did first was take lessons to learn how to polish my delivery, which is what you all are doing. So good for you. Good for you on taking that first step. Beyond learning the craft, I practiced. I practiced the skills and exercises. I recorded myself, watched the video back to see what I did wrong or what I did right. I learned how I came across when I spoke. I also practiced in front of other people and got feedback from them. I even worked with a coach to help me polish my delivery even more. I made it my mission to keep practicing through the good, the bad, and the ugly. When I landed my first TV job, I still worked with a coach and practiced and trained on my days off. I knew that even if I made gains and achieved certain goals with public speaking and improved, that I wanted to get even better. Because the art of mastering public speaking is a marathon. It's not a sprint, okay? I had good days where I'd host a show and my speaking that day was great, and then the next day I could hardly utter words without tripping over them. It was incredibly frustrating, but I didn't give up. You have to understand that you may have setbacks and it could be really discouraging, but the next day is a new day. As for the fear when it came to hosting shows or reporting on live TV, when I first started, I nearly blacked out every time I went to air because I was so nervous. The first few times I ever got on TV for a live show, it was not pretty. And I'm sure those tapes live somewhere in storage, and I hope they never see the light of day, but I know they exist somewhere. And they were bad, but I kept going. I kept putting myself out there and worked through the nerves and anxiety. The key is to keep doing it even if you're scared. You hang on for the ride and you hope for the best, right? You know that saying, face your fears? That's essentially what we have to do in order to overcome our fears. If you fear public speaking, you need to put yourself outside your comfort zone and face that fear. You need to be in a space where you feel comfortable, because that's the space where you learn and grow. That's what I did. If I was scared of a TV assignment, I made sure I raised my hand first to take it. If I was scared to anchor the news, I made sure I volunteered myself for it. It was the only way I was able to test my fear, to face my fear, and to eventually live in peace with my fear. I guess that's a good way to put it, live in peace with my fears. All those emotions I went through with TV also applied when I started speaking on stage. In fact, the anxiety was even worse because, unlike TV, with hosting and emceeing and speaking at live events, you have a big audience in front of you. It makes you feel even more vulnerable. I'll never forget my first event. I was invited to host. The organizer was familiar with my work at the local TV station. I had no MC experience prior to that opportunity. I had no idea if I could do it, and I was terrified. But I thought, oh, well, there's that feeling of fear again. It can only mean one thing. It means if I'm scared, I have to do it. I have to jump in with both feet. So I did. I'll never forget how hard I was clutching the side of the podium that I lost all the feeling in my fingers. I feel like I blacked out, or at least I blocked it all out, because I can't remember what I said or did, but I must have done an acceptable job because I was invited back the next year to MC again. And I went through all the roller coaster emotions again. Fear, anxiety, relief that I made it through again. That was really the start of a long career speaking and MCing for me. And every time I do it, it gets easier. Because the fear you feel the first time doing something new won't be as strong as the next time or the next time or the next. Fear and anxiety with any skill will decrease over time if you keep at it. So take comfort in knowing that. I also want to share a strategy that I deploy when I'm feeling particularly nervous before presenting. I channel my fear into energy. And this is a trick I teach my students who are just starting out. We want to channel fear to make it work with us instead of against us. That's what those high-performing athletes do, or people who present for a living do. Those experts have been able to master this ability to channel their fear into energy and excitement. So how do you channel and harness that fear and anxiety into excitement and energy? Well, there are several ways, but one of them is as simple as saying, I'm excited about this, to your audience right before you get into your presentation. Doing this over and over again, each time you present, can help you channel that anxiousness. I coach my students to say those words once they are in front of their audience, whatever their audience is. It can be virtual or in person. I tell them to say, hello, I'm excited to be here, or it's so great to be here, or it's so great to chat with you guys today, or it's great to be in front of this group. And then I tell them to pause. Having that pause and moment will help you to regroup and settle. Plus, I find when you get positive responses from the audience, whether that's a nod or a smile, or maybe it's a thumbs up or a comment on social media, it really helps diminish that fear. And this is a great habit to get into every time before you launch into your talk or presentation. The more you do it, the more comfortable you will get. Again, there is no one sure method to managing fear, but understanding what that fear is and understanding how a bit of it is a good thing and then channeling it into energy are some tactics that have worked for me, and I hope it works for you. That's all for today, everyone. If you liked this video and found it helpful, remember to hit the like button below and share it so that others can learn as well. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions or topic ideas, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you would like to learn more about the other public speaking programs that I offer, hit the link above to go to my website, sparkyourspeaking.com. See you next week.